My name's Andy Coleman. I've been with EXP Realty for about 5 years now. I actually became the number 2 ranked agent in EXP. I believe it was last year. I think I was number 3 the year before by deals done. So far I've done about 800 closed deals in my first, give or take 4.5 years of being a licensed realtor, and the majority of those were rental deals. I still do purchases. I convert renters into buyers. I get listings, from referrals, or even active renters that I work with. But the most amount of deals I've done, they're rental deals. And, I know a lot of agents are kind of, thinking in their head, well, I can make $10,000 commission on doing a sale. Why would I waste my time, making $2,000, $1,000, whatever it is in your area, because it is going to be a little different in every area. Why would I waste my time doing that? Well, I got to say, I figured out a strategy and basically created it from scratch that I can do a rental deal in about 1 to 4 hours of work, like per closed deal. I mean, I average, I would like to say right now about 2 hours per deal. So in my mind, I know it takes about 20 hours to do a purchase. I think that's the national average. And for a rental deal, if you can get that down in, let's just say 2 to 4 hours, you can do 5, 6, 7 rental deals in the exact same amount of time and effort it takes to do one purchase. And this way, you don't even have to rely on that one purchase going through, because I'm sure that you've all been there. I've been there where, I've literally lost a purchase like the day before the closing, or day of closing, purchase just disappears. The buyer, something happens with the seller, and all of a sudden the deal just disappears. And that can be really painful. And I experienced that early on in my career. And as a new agent in a brand new state, because I had moved to Florida about 7 years ago, got into real estate, 4 or 5 years ago, and I didn't really have a network built up. So I figured, it wasn't really working for me trying to focus on the buyers and sellers. I heard the whole, spiel about, it's normally supposed to take 9 months to do your first deal. And I was like, that can't be right. I got to pay MLS dues. I got to pay brokerage fees. I got to pay gas and this and that. Like, I'm going to lose money if it takes me 9 months to do my first deal. So there's got to be a better way. And I started examining it, and, no offense to anybody out there, because I know what used to work, 10 or 20 years ago, doesn't really work as effectively right now in 2024, where, it's not a buyer's market, it's not a seller's market. So what is it? It's literally a renter's market. And as a real estate agent, I never understood why agents didn't focus on the renters, especially when it becomes a renter's market, or if you're a brand new agent, or if you're just struggling to do deals. And I was, I was basically all 3 of those in the beginning of my career. It was right when the pandemic hit. And it was just getting into a really, really, really heavy seller's market. And I didn't think there would be anybody that would really trust me with the biggest purchasing decision as a buyer, or the biggest sale of their entire life, selling their home. I didn't think anybody would trust me with no experience. So, I figured, whoa, what if I work with the renters? What if I tried to hone in on the renter demographic? And, I realized very quickly, wow, this works. There's no competition. No other agents are actually doing this. So I basically, I'll give you some stats about me. And I think if you're on the first slide right now, I was basically the leading rental expert, for the last handful of years. I became one of the top agents in the world by deals done, not by volume, because there are agents out there that crush my GCI, which I'll talk about in a little bit, but by volume. And I'm telling you, if you get it down to a system like I have, rentals are easy. Like, they should not take you that much time at all. You shouldn't be running around doing 10 showings per person, even though I did do that in the beginning of my career. And I think that's why there's a stigma behind rentals, because a lot of agents have a bad experience early on where they're going to run around, do 10, 15 showings and, make $1,000, $1,500, $2,000, whatever the case may be. And then they start thinking in their head, well, if I'm going to show 15 properties, might as well work on a purchase. But that's not the case when you actually dial in doing rentals and create a system behind it. You are literally doing anywhere from 0 to 3 showings per person. And I'll break that down on what I mean by that, but I haven't done more than 3 showings in years, for a rental client. There's no need. So if you factor in all of that on average, I'm really only showing 1, maybe 2 places, maximum. It doesn't take me that long to do a rental, and just so much less can go wrong. You all know, if you're working with the buyer, if you're working with the seller, there is, the appraisal, there's the inspection. I don't have to, list off everything that can go wrong with a purchase. Everybody here has been through it before, and we know if one little thing happens, it's a lot more serious, and the chances to lose that deal is significantly higher than a simple rental where you're basically just signing a lease agreement. If there's an HOA, have them apply to the HOA, and then that's it. You meet them there for the final walkthrough. They give you, or they give the owner the last in security, and you get your commission check. It's so simple. And once an agent figures out how simple and easy it is, it's just all uphill from there. Because like I said before, there's no competition. If in this room right now, I know there's about 50 agents in here, I can almost guarantee that out of all 50 agents, right, how many has done, let's just say, 1 rental a month, so 10, what would it be, October, November, 11 rentals for this year. I can almost guarantee nobody has done that. Maybe 1 person out of the 50 people in this room have done that, because it's not something that you're really told to do. It's not something that is really talked about too often. And, you see I like to call it big shiny object syndrome, for a buyer and seller. Don't get me wrong. I work with buyers and sellers. I love them. I love them. I just don't intentionally go after them. They literally just fall out of the sky, fall right into my lap. And I do about 1 purchase every month. Even in this market right now, even in this terrible, horrible, can't afford to buy a home right now if you're a buyer, listings are sitting on the market forever, on average. I'm still doing 1 every single month right now just by working with renters. I've not done a lick of marketing for, open houses or FSBOs or door knocking. And I'm not knocking, door knocking or anything like that, because I know a lot of agents have had very successful careers, doing all of the above that I just mentioned. But it's just harder right now in 2024 in this market. It's harder. So you're stacking the odds against you by doing these strategies that used to work, but now are not as effective just because of the housing market in general. I don't know if you guys know this, but we literally have the lowest house sales since the 2008 crash. It's a statistic. You can look it up. I can't remember which site is, Forbes or something, reported on it. And they said, we literally have less home sales now than the 2008 crash. So as a real estate agent, if you're trying to go after the buyers and sellers with the massive competition that you have from everybody else, doing the same thing, doing the FSBO cold callings, doing the mailers, you know what I mean? If you send a mailer out, I'm sure, whatever neighborhood you're choosing, they're getting 5 a day. Well, maybe not 5 a day, but you know what I'm trying to say. It's a lot of competition. It's not like that for the rental market. If you're an agent focusing on renters, you don't have competition. There is, if you looked at a left and right of you and ask an agent in the room if they're focusing on renters, they're going to say no. You'd have to have 100 agents in a room and maybe 1 or 2 of them are going to be focusing on renters. So there's literally a gap in the market. And as an agent right now, why not capitalize on that gap? So that's what I thought in the early part of my career. I was like, there's a big gap right now and nobody's doing this. Let me try to figure out a system to do it. So if you want to go to the next slide showing my stats on screen over here, basically you could see, my first year of real estate, you can see on screen, I was a number 2 agent, right below John Scalia. If you guys, we're with the EXP Realty. John Scalia is the man. He does a lot of deals. And I came in second behind him, and this is only after being in real estate for 3 years as a brand new agent. John, love him. He's been doing this for 20 plus years. You know what I mean? I've been doing this for a handful of years. I just figured out a system and a method that nobody else was doing. So it became very, very simple and easy. And I'm going to explain my entire strategy. I'm going to break down everything to you guys, exactly how I've done this. But first, I just want to show you, some of the deals that I've done. Very first year, I did about 50 deals total, and I would say about 44 of those were rental deals, and the other 6 were purchases. I actually closed 6 house sales in my first year from doing this. I didn't make that much in commission. All the house sales came from my renters. I didn't even have to wait a year or 2 to actually convert them over into sales. I literally did it right now, back then, I did it right away in that year because I just converted the renters into buyers immediately. And I'll talk about this, right, because my commission was a little bit lower. I only made about $80,000 in commission for my first year, but I was kind of goofing it around. I was just figuring it out. I was turning my phone off at 5 o'clock at night. I wasn't really taking real estate 100% serious like I could have been. And I realized, after my first full year, I was like, wait a minute. I have a strategy that's working. I'm like, I want to build an empire. I like everybody in here, everybody wants to build a big empire. Everybody wants to build a legacy and be known for something. And that's what I realized I wanted to do. So I said, in my second year, let me hone in on this. Let me really focus on the strategy that I created. I called it my Any Broker Advertise strategy. And I'll talk about that in a moment. And I was like, what if I actually commit, let's say a full work day, and I stopped turning my phone off, really treat this as a business. And I did. In 2021, that was my second year in real estate, did about 170 deals, and I made about $250,000 in gross commission, right? GCI. That's in the pocket. I became an icon agent after my second year. I came very close my first year. For my second year, I actually became an icon agent, and I did it doing rentals. Because you guys know, you have to do 20 deals after you cap. It's pretty tough if you're working with buyers and sellers, especially in this market now, but 20 rentals, I can do that in a month. I can literally do 20 rentals in a month. It's not that difficult. There's a path to actually do that very fast. You don't have to wait 20 years to do it. You can literally, as you can see, you can start doing it right away. My third year, I was like, oh my God, I just made $250,000. I closed 170 deals. And again, I think maybe 5, 6, 7 of those were purchases. But the majority of those are rentals. And I was working on getting my average commission up. I can't remember the exact commission I was making back then, but if you do the math, maybe around $1,300 or so. But I eventually got it up to close to $2,000 per deal, which was really cool in my third year, where I did about 250 deals. That's when I became, I think I was the number 3 ranked agent by deals done in EXP Realty as a solo agent with no help whatsoever. Didn't have any VAs, no transaction coordinators, no assistants, no team leaders, no mentors, literally no showing agents, did it all on my own. Did 250 deals, and that's when I made, actually, it was about $510,000 in commission, which was pretty cool. And obviously, I iconed again. That was my second time iconing. So I believe, actually, I iconed, my anniversary date was October 1st, and I think I actually iconed twice in 1 year. I believe it only took me 2 months after October 1st. I think it was October 1st, 2021 or 22, I can't remember now. I iconed again in the same calendar year. Before that year was even up, iconed again. That was my third icon that I did in that consecutive year. Because like I said, I literally was able to cap like that, get up to 80,000 in commission. And then I did 20 rental deals in a month. So I capped and iconed supremely quick. And anybody else can do it too. It's not like, I'm doing some secret top, like neuroscience, like brain surgery type work. I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, I'm doing a very basic, a very simple strategy. I just got very, very good at it. I became very, very efficient. I got my average close deal time down to, like I said before, 1 to 4 hours per deal. I really got organized. I treated this more so as my own company where I can work around the clock, while still having some free time and some downtime, work-life balance. I do admit I work like a madman that year, and you have to, if you want to accomplish, goals and dreams like that, you kind of have to prioritize work over everything else. But I did it for a very specific reason. I wanted to do it just then. You know what I mean? My first couple of years, just grind, work very, very hard. So I don't have to anymore. So I don't have to spend the next 20 years busting my butt. I can actually start taking the foot off the pedal a little bit if I want to. I'd have the choice at that point. And that's what I did, in 2024. I don't have my stats up there because then I actually created a team. In my fourth year as a real estate agent, I created the Andy Coleman team. I got some agents to help me out with these deals. But you can see my first 3 years, I closed damn near 500 deals alone in 3 years. That is more deals than the average agent will do in a 50-year career. You know what I mean? Like, that's a lot of deals. I think the average agent only closes, 3 deals a year, 4 deals a year, something like that. I did a lot, right? And I became a 4-time icon agent over the past, 4 years doing it. And I've actually made, this is a little bit older, I've actually made over $1.8 million in commission, which I thought was pretty darn impressive, focusing on renters. And I did it in a market where it was a heavy seller's market. It was a buyer's market in the beginning. It was a neutral market, and then it became a renter's market. Did it during a pandemic, did it during a, I guess, semi-recession right now. Technically, we're not in a recession, but the economy is not doing great. So what goes to show you, it works in any market. Because what I came to find out, and everybody can attest to this, everybody always needs a place to rent. If you think back, even just yourself, I'm sure you didn't buy when you moved out of your parents' house, when you were 16 or 18 or 25, whatever age you moved out of your parents' house, I'm sure you didn't buy a house. I'm sure you rented first. Everybody always needs a place to rent. It's never going to go away. It actually works even better. The worse the economy is doing, unfortunately, the better rentals work, because a lot more people are going to be renting because they can't afford to buy a home. So it actually works even better right now. And right now, in 2024, I actually went back to doing my own deals again, which is pretty cool. Year's not up yet, but I actually had some free time because I did something new in 2023, which I'll talk about in a second. And in 2024, I said, you know what? Let me go back. I have a little bit more free time. Let me go back to doing my own deals again. I want to test out this market, see how hard or easy it is. My theory was it would be easier, and it is. I'm working 2 to 4 hours a day. I'm not putting much time into real estate anymore doing my own deals. I took the foot off the pedal just like I wanted to do, why I grinded so hard in my first, well, not my first year, but my second and third year. I was like, you know what? It's super easy to do a deal now. That's when I really got it down to doing 0 to 3 showings. That's when I really got it down to spending sometimes 1 hour, per successful deal, 2 hours per successful deal. That's when I really got it up to $2,000 average commission per deal that I'm doing. And right now, as a part-time agent, I'm doing about 10 rentals per month, and I'm getting 1 buyer out of it. I think I've done like 7, 8 purchases this year, give or take, something like that. And I'm not even trying that hard, to be quite frank with you. I'm really not trying that hard, just easy, because a lot of people are looking for rental properties right now, but the market, they don't have the amount of agents, right? They have the demand for the renters looking for rentals, but they don't have the agents that are willing to help the renters, the tenants. They're not out there. So literally, if you're a agent right now and you start working with renters, you're going to notice this too. And you've probably, if you've worked with a renter, if you pick up the phone for them, because I show you how to get warm leads, and that's the next thing I'm going to go into is how to actually get warm leads coming in, where you have to make contact with people. That's a big thing. You got to talk to people every single day. But I didn't like the fact that I had to go out and kind of find them, even though I do find them, but I find them in a different way where they actually need me. They actually come to me. But it is all about, making connections and communicating with people and talking to people every single day. I just didn't like, I didn't like the whole mentality of having to, let's say, cold call, FSBOs or door knock strangers. I didn't love that idea. That's just me personally. A lot of agents are very, very successful doing that, but that just didn't fit my personality type. I wanted to basically become efficient, where I can have some kind of medium where these tenants would actually reach out to me and I would be the commodity, right? They would say, oh, I want your help, to get into this property. And I found a way to do that. And I'm going to talk about that right now. Realistically, everybody knows that there's 3 stages in the life of a tenant, of a person, renter, buyer, seller, and everybody knows that they're skipping the first stage. I don't have to, go over that, right? Everybody knows you can do 3 deals from 1 lead. You can get them into a rental, you can maybe 1 year later, 2 years later, turn them into a buyer, and then maybe 5, 6, 7 years later, however long it is, turn them into a seller, 3 deals, plus all the crazy amount of referrals that you're going to get, and everybody also knows that the prices are way too high and the inventory is too low, and the mortgage rates are also too high right now to be affordable to buy a house. Everybody knows it's a renter's market right now. We don't have to go over that. And second slide over here, again, I just explained it. We make about $2,000 average commission if you're doing this correct. That's what I make down here in South Florida. It's going to be, but what I also do, and I didn't mention this, I charge a $300 transaction fee. And I'll talk about how I do that later, but every single tenant I work with, I literally charge a $300 transaction fee. So this way, if the commission's a little bit lower, maybe I only make $500 on a deal, right? Now I charge an extra $300. So instead of making $500 commission from, let's say, the listing agent or the apartment complex, now I've just made $800. And for 2 hours of work, I don't know, to make $400 an hour, to me personally, that's worth my time, right? That's worth my time. And I just don't think a lot of agents really do the math on that, right? You don't sit there and break it down like, well, if I can do a rental deal and learn how to do a rental deal in 2 to 4 hours, maybe if you do 4 hours of work, you're making what, $200 an hour? I still think that's pretty darn good, to make $200 an hour for a successfully closed deal, right? And then if you get a buyer on top of that, you just got an extra $10,000. So if you do 20 rentals in a month at $2,000 average commission, you're making 40 grand. And then if you do an extra buyer on top of that, you just made $50,000. And I've had many, I can't even count how many months I've had where I've made 50 grand. I think my best month ever, I think I made about 132,000 or something like that in my very best month ever, because I turned a renter into a $3.4 million house sale where I made an $85,000 commission. So if you guys don't think it's possible even to do luxury deals off of renters, I am firsthand proof it's 100% possible. If I can do it, why can't you? There's nothing special about me, right? I capitalized on a niche where I saw something that was being neglected and I focused on it. That's all I did, right? And then I just put all of my heart, all of my soul, all of my energy into learning that one niche. That's it. That's all I did, right? And I created a strategy out of it. Renters turn into buyers. We talked about this, right? If you go to the next slide, you could see renters turn into buyers. Active renters, they're going to change their mind right away. That's how I did 6 sales in my first year of being a real estate agent, because I convinced 6 renters to buy a home with me instead of rent. Take that for what it is, right? We talked about the time already, so we can skip that. No competition. We talked about this before. Nobody's doing it, right? And renters need to move now. It's not like if you're a buyer, maybe I'll be buying next year. There's no urgency, maybe the year after, maybe in 6 months, maybe in 3 months. Who knows? Let's look now. And if I find something I like, great, we'll go with it, No, it's not like that for rentals. Renters are like, I got to move now. Like, get me into a rental. My lease is up. My landlord's selling their house, whatever the case may be. It doesn't matter. I got to move to change school districts. I got a new job. I'm relocating to a new state. Doesn't matter. They got to move now. So it's literally quick cash, right? The average renter actually takes about 26, 27 days to get into a place from the start of their search. And they only see 0 to 3 properties. That's I can't speak. That's a statistic from apartments.com, of 2024. It wasn't like this a few years ago, right? So, it's better now. And if you go to the next slide, you'll see losing deals, right? If you lose a purchase, we talked about this, it's devastating. But if you lose a rental, doesn't matter. We're doing volume. You're doing 10, 15, 20, in my case, 30. That was the most deals I've ever done in a month, 30 deals in one calendar month, alone. If you lose a rental, who cares? That month I did 30 deals. I probably had under contract 32, 33 deals, you know what I mean? And I lost 2 or 3 of them. But it didn't matter. It was irrelevant because, it sucked. I lost a few grand. But didn't matter because I had 30 more closings, still made 60,000 behind that. But if you have, let's say, one purchase that you're relying on for, let's say, 2 or 3 months, right? That's the only purchase you've done in 3 months. And all of a sudden you lose that deal and you're counting on that 15 grand or 20 grand or 10 grand. Oof, that stings. And how do I know? Because it's literally happened to me countless times. I can't even tell you how many buyers I've lost, and it doesn't really happen as frequently with renters just because there's so much less that can go wrong. And when it does happen, it's truly irrelevant. It sucks, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't matter because you have a lot of deals. Even if you've done 10 deals that month and you lose one of them, you still have 9 behind it, right? So you still make a lot of money. That's why I like that. And it consistently works in every single market, right? Relocating clients as well. If you go to the next slide, you can see relocating clients, people that move out of state, they're going to typically rent before they buy. I mean, it's a no-brainer, right? And honestly, guys, if you're a new real estate agent, and this hurts me to say this, there's a 90% failure rate. I can't remember if it was in the first like 2 years or 3 years, but overall, that's the stat. It's a 90% failure rate. And I truly believe it's because every single agent is competing against the same thing. They're all trying to go after the buyers and sellers. There's just way too much competition. So if you focus on the renters, I truly believe that would kind of be reversed. You would actually be able to close deals every single month. It would become a lot more competitive if every agent did it. Yes, that's a big reason of why it works so well right now. You got to imagine, right? If you're doing FSBOs 20 years ago when you're the only one doing it, it's probably going to work really well. But nowadays, these FSBOs are getting 20 calls every single day. A FSBO owner gets 20 calls. So it doesn't work as effective as it did 20 years ago. Maybe it's going to be the same thing for rentals, right? Maybe in 20 years from now, everybody's going to learn how to do this and then it's not going to be as easy anymore. But it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter because it works right now, right? Nobody does it right now. So that's the whole key point, right? If you go to the next slide, you'll see you're going to build momentum. I'm sure every single one of you in this room has gotten discouraged. You have been trying, putting in your time and effort, and nothing's happening. You're not getting results. You might lose a deal. You know, your buyers might waste your time, and you're not making any money. You're coming out of pocket for money. When you're closing rentals, you're closing them consecutively every month. It's a guaranteed 100%. At least for me, it is, because I've never had a month where I've not closed a deal. Literally 0 months, zero. Since I started real estate, 0 months in 4.5 years. Not a single month has gone by, right, where I have not closed a deal because it's volume. So you're going to be celebrating wins. You're going to be happy every single month. In my case, when I'm closing 20 deals on average a month, you know what I mean? I'm happy all the damn time. I'm closing deals. I'm getting positive affirmations constantly. It feels really good and it motivates you, right? It's not discouraging. And it's a long-term business. You get the fast cash right now from the renters, and then all of a sudden, you get a massive database. I got like 25,000 people in my database right now. 25,000 people from scratch, from zero when I moved to Florida. I had nobody. Now I have 25,000 people because it's a volume game. I'm literally getting hundreds of leads, thousands of leads per month. I'm getting thousands of free leads. They're free leads. I'll show you how I do it right after this, actually, right? So how to do a rental. I'm sure you're like, all right, get to the point already. I just honestly wanted to stress how important doing rentals are. And I wanted to give you my reasons of why I've done them for so long. How to do a rental, right? I'll briefly go by this just in case you don't know. Then I'll get on to my actual strategy. I'll start with my MLS strategy first, then go to my apartment strategy, and then my rental listing strategy. Really quick, just in case anybody doesn't know, for my actual strategy. Leads, right? First step is generating rental leads. That's what you need, right? And I'll show you how to do that. Second step, turn those leads into clients of yours, okay? Third step, set up a showing if they qualify. And I'll talk about how to qualify them. Fourth step, if they like the property, slap an offer in. And I'll show you how to do an offer right now. It's a full package. Credit, background, eviction report, rental application, proof of income, driver's license. Write up a quick little contract to lease, done. That's it, right? Proof of income could be 3 bank statements, 3 pay stubs, tax returns, offer letters, whatever the case may be. You can do all of it, if you want to get extra fancy. You know what I mean? Put it together as a package, send it over to the listing agent. They will think you're a superstar because you just did their job for them, right? They don't have to come and hound you for documents now. They're going to want to work with you forever. I literally have agents that, because I do this so organized, right? I have agents that sometimes will get like 5 offers for a rental. And just because I've done this before in the past with them, they know how easy I am to work with. I always close the deal. And they're like, oh my God, let's go with Andy's tenant. He's vouching for them. He's going to make it an easy process. He's going to make sure they cross the finish line. You're going to close more deals by getting organized like this, right? 6th step, right, is negotiate. After you send in the full package, negotiate with the listing agent. Just make sure that you're gonna close the deal, right? You're gonna get them accepted, okay? And I'll talk about how to do that. Lease agreement. After they've been accepted, have the listing agent send you the lease agreement. Just get it ready for signatures, and that's it. Make sure it's all correct. Then, once the lease is fully executed, just do an HOA application, if applicable. If there is an HOA, just send it over to the tenant, have them fill it out, drop it off to the HOA. Pay the quick little application fee. There's no monthly fee or anything like that. That's it, right? Just wait for the HOA. Deposit. Just take 1 month's rent held in escrow and you're done. Put it in a title company, have their brokerage hold it, have the owner hold it. Don't ever mess around with escrow funds. Don't commingle or anything like that. Make sure you do it by the book. But just collect the first month's rent held in escrow. That's it, right? You always want money down. Then just do your final walkthrough. You literally just sit back and wait for the final walkthrough where they bring typically last in security for the keys, and then you get your commission check, and you've just made $500, $1,000, $1,500, $2,000. Like me, I've made $10,000 on a rental before. I did a $20,000 rental. I made half a month's rent commission. I made 10 grand. So the sky's the limit. I've made as low as $500 for a rental, and I've made as high as $10,000 for a rental deal. And that's it. You're done. And then just keep rinsing and repeating. MLS private homes, right? So this is the bulk of my strategy over here, okay? So basically, you're going to start on your local MLS, okay? So we're taking MLS properties and we're advertising them with the permission of the listing agent. Now, you do not have any broker advertise, yes, in your MLS. I don't think you do. You can petition to your board of realtors. I've had agents do this in other states where they've reached out to their board of realtors and said, hey, listen, they have this in Florida. They have this in New York. They have this in Texas. We want this in our MLS. We want any broker advertised for a rental listing. We want to be able to advertise if an agent says yes, and we don't want to have to go out of our way to ask them, right? That's how it happened in Florida. If you don't have it, it's fine. All you got to do is ask for permission. Text them, email them, call them, do all three. Just be like, hey, listen, I'm struggling right now. I'm a new agent. I'm not doing any deals right now. Rent's coming up soon, and I need help. I saw that your listing is up there on the MLS, and is it okay if I advertise it and try to bring you a tenant? That's all I want to do. I just want to bring you a tenant. Is that okay? Is that cool? I promise, it's not going to interfere with anything. It's only going to help you get it rented out faster, make your job easier. If you say something like that to them, and even just say, if you want me to, remove it at any point, just let me know, right? If you say that to them, there's not an agent in this world that has a heart that's going to be like, no, sorry, you can't make my job easier. No, sorry, you can't provide for your family. They're not going to do that. If you come at it from the right way, it's easy. Pick a listing, find a really nice property to advertise, and then just do like I said, get permission for it, right? Then you're going to post the listing. You're going to advertise the listing on a site like Facebook Marketplace. I always give that as an example because it's 100% free. 100% free. You can go on Facebook Marketplace. You can advertise a property, right? With permission, of course. And then all you do is put courtesy of the listing brokerage. Your state laws might be a little bit different, but I think you have to do that in Maryland, where if they give you permission, just say courtesy of Remax, courtesy of Keller Williams, right? Whatever it is, just cite them as it's not your listing. You're just helping out. You're just trying to work with the tenant to show them that property. And the whole objective and goal is to get that property rented out and get that commission, right? And if not, if that property doesn't work out, no big deal, right? No big deal. I'll talk about it in a second. But once you're responding to these leads, right? Because you're going to get leads flooding in. If you post, let's say, 5 properties a day, let's just say, and you do it for 10 days, you're going to have 50 properties up on the marketplace, right? You're going to get leads flooding into you, depending on the property that you post. And yes, this is a skill, when I teach agents how to do this in depth, this is just a quick little guideline, but all you got to do is respond. They're going to reach out saying, hey, is this property available for rent? You're going to say, yes, it is available for rent. Maybe it was just rented that very second, and then you could say, oh, no, sorry, it just got rented. I just removed it. But I can still help you out. I can still help you find a place if you would like. I'm a licensed realtor. I focus on rentals. I'm an expert in rentals. I can help you find a place if you like. Want me to set you up directly on my MLS? Give you access? You have to know a realtor to get set up on the MLS. It's free for you. For me, I don't know if you can say the word free anymore with the whole, but yeah, they don't have to pay for the MLS access. Set them up on the MLS. That's all you got to do, right? And then this way, if you set them up on a subscription, they're going to get automatic properties that fit their criteria. What do they want? 3 beds, 2 baths, a single family house, 2,000 square feet. You set them up, and then you're going to look like a superstar because automatically in your MLS, it acts like a CRM. It constantly, without you even having to do anything, you set it and forget it. It sends them listings every moment a new one pops up on the market. Do you want to be the first person to see a new listing? Well, I got an easy way for you to do it. I'll help you out. I would love for you to help you out. And they will be so mystified and shocked that you just offered to help them out on a rental when 99% of agents are saying, shoo fly, get out of here. I don't want your help. I don't want you talking to me about a rental. That's what most agents' attitude typically are, from what I found, is they don't want to work with renters. So when you come at it from the perspective and mindset of I want to help you, they're going to be so loyal to you. They're going to be so appreciative and grateful that you want to help them when 9 out of 10 agents do not. I'm telling you right now, it's a game changer. Game changer. Set them up in your MLS. Like I said, once you set them up in the MLS, if the initial property doesn't work out, and you could be going to the next slides as I'm saying this, hopefully you're following along there. If that initial property doesn't work out, that's fine, right? Just show them other properties that fit their criteria, okay? It's literally that easy. It's that easy. And no, you don't have to do 10 showings. It's their top 3 favorite showings, and that's that. Right? You start at their very first favorite, you go to their second favorite if that doesn't work out, and you go to their third favorite. They're renting a home. They're not buying a home. There's no reason why they have to see 15 properties. There's literally no reason. All 15 properties, if they say, I like these 15, they're going to be identical. 3 of them are going to stand out, and that's the 3 you show them, right? That's why I said before, sometimes I do 0 showings, 1 showing, 2 showings, 3 showings. I'll talk a little bit about how I do 0, because now I can get a showing agent. Sometimes I can get the listing agent to do it, if they have to be there and they say, oh, don't worry about it, because I've already put in a pre-offer, which I'm going to talk about. You don't want to do it, initially unless you have an offer already in, obviously, which I'm going to talk about in a second, because I have a very, very advanced strategy where I don't recommend this for a brand new agent doing this. But you can basically do a credit background eviction report, rental application, proof of income, driver's license, write up a quick contract to lease like we talked about before, the full package. You can send in an offer first before doing a showing. It's a pre-offer. You have to make it very clear to the listing agent, hey, we're just putting a pre-offer in just to make sure we qualify, just to make sure your landlord is going to say yes to us. Then, if so, then we'll go take our time to go do the showing, right? But this is something my client really likes. Everything, it ticks all the boxes, right? If you do it the right way, 9 out of 10 times after you go show them that property, they're going to take it, right? If they're only applying to or pre-applying to properties they really like, you wouldn't show a buyer a house without a pre-approval, right? Same thing for a rental. It's the exact same thing. But in this case, most agents don't think to do that for rentals, but this is more advanced, you know what I mean? So you got to work your way into it without without scaring them off, because most agents don't do this. So it's uncommon. I've actually made it kind of common down here in South Florida because I've been doing this for so long. I've done over 800 deals. So a lot of people, other agents have caught on. They're doing it now. So it's a little more common and easier for me to explain it to a tenant. But in a state that hasn't really had this yet, you might have to educate them in the beginning, right? And I teach agents every single day how to do this. You do a rental application, right? A Rentspree, a My Smart Move, whatever is standard in your area, that's what you do. Super simple, super easy, right? Go over the terms, the price, the moving date, if there's a cosigner, extra money up front if they have low credit, and then you put the offer in, right? You email it over to the listing agent, and you, like I said before, you negotiate. Just try to get them accepted. If you have to do more money, this or that, extra terms, I don't have time to really go in depth on that right now, but you guys get the drift. Just like you would negotiate a buyer, you do it for a renter. Or sometimes you don't have to. They'll take the offer right away. Final steps is super easy. We went over it in the beginning over here. Lease agreement, HOA application, deposit held in escrow, like I said before. Do a final walkthrough and get paid. It is so dirt simple. Anybody can do it. Anybody can do 10, 15, 20, 30 of these in a month doing this exact strategy that I just told you, because you're repeating the entire time. You're not just doing one deal at a time and be like, okay, after I close this deal, I'll go on to the next person. You're working with I can work with like 50 people at once, literally 50 tenants at once, and a couple buyers, at the same time. I create a system around doing this where I can manage working with 50 people putting in 30 offers a day. How do you think I did 250 deals in a year alone? I had to put in like 10 to 30 offers a day, because not everything's going to get accepted, especially back in 2021, 22, when it was just chaos and pandemonium, where some of these properties were getting 50 offers. It was a little bit different back then. You don't have to put in as many offers today, but you still have to be putting in offers and talking to people every day. But this way, this strategy, this gets the people coming to you. They come to you. They reach out to you asking you for help. It's not like cold calling where you're calling them. They're calling you. I personally love that. I love it. Okay, that is my MLS strategy. And obviously, I just broke it down really, really quickly. This took me years to master, and there's a lot more that goes into this, but that's the basic framework, right? That's the basic framework, and reach out to me if you need help on this, because I do teach agents how to do this in depth, okay? And then you got apartment locating. For apartment location, all you got to do is the exact same strategy I just said, except there's some slight nuances. Instead of the MLS, you're using apartments.com, okay? So you're going to be taking the properties from apartments.com, getting the permission from the apartment complexes themselves instead of like listing agents in this case, and you might be doing reels, right? You're going to be building a spreadsheet of all the ones that say, yes, you can advertise it, yes, we pay realtors a realtor fee. Some of them will pay you a full month's rent commission, especially the new ones, the brand new ones with low occupancy. They love realtors helping them out, because this way they get the occupancy rate up like super high, super quick. They're like, oh, you want to help me? Do my job for me? Because these leasing agents and managers, property managers for leasing complexes, the corporate office wants them to have as high occupancy rate as possible. They need all the help they can get sometimes, right? I have some property managers be like, they'll reach out to me, be like, oh, we just built a new complex, like a Vale or whatever. We just built a new complex and we're sitting at 30% occupancy rate. I know you're the master of rentals. Can you help advertise this? And I'll pay you a full month's rent commission. You get somebody in here, whatever the rent is, I'll give you a full month. Corporate said yes. I do it and I start doing 5, 10 of these a month. I make a full month's rent commission. I'm telling you guys, I can't stress how simple and easy this is because you don't have to do lease agreements. You don't have to do applications for apartment complexes. They do everything. You just bring them there. You do the tour with them. You give them your business card. If accepted and it goes through, you give them your W-9 and your invoice. That's it. You're done. Your job's done. You don't build the same connection. You don't convert as many renters into buyers this way. That's why I primarily focus on my MLS strategy, but it is very, 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 very quick and easy. It takes less time, less stress, less headaches, and it's simple. And in some states, you make more money than the MLS. If MLS properties are paying you less, look into apartment complexes because those might be paying you more. Yeah, right. So the basic strategy, same thing. You pick a nice listing. There's two ways to do it, right? You can make a reel out of it. You can go to the complex, make a reel, and put it on Instagram, build a channel just for it, like, Maryland apartment rentals, Baltimore, whatever, right? I don't know. Washington, whatever you want to say, right? And then just get reels for those complexes. I teach agents how to do this in depth. I cannot go over it right now, but you take a reel and you'll get thousands and thousands of views, and you can set up a Google Leads form, and you'll have DMs coming in. You can put your phone number on there, your business line, and you can have people calling you, wanting to see that apartment complex that you just made a reel of. If you target it, you can even target paid ads with the reels. You could literally target on Instagram your specific area. You could choose a circumference and boost one of these reels just to people in your local area, just that like real estate or looking for a house. It's like, oh my God. It's so easy. It's so easy. Post the apartment on Facebook Marketplace then, right? If you just want to go the picture route, or do both, take the pictures, right? With permission, of course. Take the pictures, throw them up on Facebook Marketplace, and do the same thing as the MLS strategy, except for apartment complexes. It works the same, right? Works the same. Now it's just apartment complexes. You're using apartments.com instead of MLS. That's it. And then it's the same thing before, as I just said, respond to the leads. Show them that property. If that apartment complex doesn't work out, they don't meet the qualifications. That's why I told you to build a spreadsheet with everything in there. I didn't go into the spreadsheet, but you put everything in there. Qualifications, everything is in that spreadsheet. So it's a master spreadsheet you can refer to. And then you basically just find out which property they would qualify for if they don't, or if they don't like it, and take them to another one that gives you a referral fee. Done. It's that simple. Show them 1, 2, 3 apartment complexes, and you're in like Flynn. That saying is that easy. Like, you will close them, within a couple properties. Within a couple properties, you will close them. Like I said before, the application, it's so easy. They do it there with the leasing office. You don't do anything. You could help them if you want, but you don't have to. I advise kind of helping them a little bit. You don't have to. They do everything in-house, and you literally just get paid. Like I said, W-9 invoice. Within 30 days of them moving in, that's why it's a little different from the MLS strategy. You get paid when they move in. On that day of moving, you get paid for the MLS strategy. Or I have some tactics where you can get paid a little earlier, and I talk about that, but it's not what it thinks. I teach how to do that. But for the apartment strategy, typically you got to wait 30 days after they move in, right? Then they'll send the check to EXP. I never had a problem getting paid. Just stay in contact with them, right? And then repeat. Just constantly be doing this every day. Just focus on this, and I promise you, if you guys are not making $100,000, $200,000 a year right now, this is the path. This is the easy path to do it because nobody's doing it, right? If we go on to my next slide, briefly, rental listings, you can do this. It's just like FSBOs, except it's FRBOs, for rent by owner or canceled or expired listings for rentals, okay? Nobody calls the for rent by owners. Nobody calls the canceled rentals. Nobody cares. Nobody does it. If you know how to do FSBO prospecting, you can do for rent by owner prospecting. I break all of this down in depth, how to actually do this and be successful at it, because you'll get both sides. You'll get more tenant leads. It works as a lead magnet. Plus, you can get the rental listing. You'll get 1 month's rent commission out of it. I mean, it's literally incredible how easy this works because there's no competition. Like I said before, if you were doing FSBOs 20, 30 years ago, you would have succeeded like crazy because nobody was doing it. Same thing for FRBOs. Nobody is doing it right now. So if you apply those same strategies for FRBOs and canceled or expired rentals, you will clean up. You will have so many rental listings, you won't even know what to do with it. And then you're going to get so many tenant leads coming from those rental listings because you're going to slap them up on the MLS. And all of a sudden, you're going to have tenants reaching out to you. Then you could do my MLS strategy or my apartment strategy with those leads. See how it works in synergy? You could literally do all three of these strategies at the same time. You're still focusing on just one niche, the rental niche. Okay, so that's all the time I got for talking about that. Success tips, you can see here, this is my third year of real estate. I did 228 deals counted. I actually did about 250 that for whatever reason didn't show up. I was actually the number 3 ranked agent. I should have been number 2, but whatever, right? Tips to succeed, pick a niche. We talked about this. Take one niche, stick to it. Communication, learn how to communicate better. Talk confident, be nice, be friendly. Build a relationship. Be as friendly as possible, right? Just try to help them. Where can I help? Listen to them. Listen to their needs and help, right? Work hard. We said this before. Stop turning off your phone at 5 o'clock. Stop taking off weekends. If you want to succeed at the level that a top agent would, right? If you don't, cool. Cool. You don't have to. I'm not saying that, right? Everybody has different objectives, different goals. That's the way you get to the top is you work hard and you work smart. You do both. You can't just work smart. You can't just work hard. You got to do both. That's a common misconception. Just treat it as a business. You don't have a boss. You have to tell yourself what to do. Your clients technically are your boss. So suck up to them, appease them, be friendly to them, be nice to them, but be the expert. Be the one that's in control because you know what you're doing and they don't. You don't go tell a doctor, that's about to go into open heart surgery. Oh, well, doctor, you should use that scalpel. How do you know? You've never done it before. Same thing as a real estate agent. They've never done it before. They might have moved into a property, but if you close hundreds of deals, you know the ins and outs. They don't. Take control. Treat it as a business, your business. Like I said, work smart. Create systems and processes behind everything. I have clipboards. I have assembly lines that I use I can literally respond to 200 leads, 30 minutes. Literally, I can respond to 200 leads, have an open conversation with 200 people in 30 minutes. I figured out how to do that because I started to work smart. Follow-ups, guys, follow-ups. You will probably gain about 30% to your business just by following up. A lot of times, they don't close on the first interaction. You got to follow up. People forget. They got lives. They get busy. Follow up. Mindset, right? You get back what you put out, okay? Think positive, and positive things will happen. Put out good energy. It truly works. People are drawn to that. You know what I mean? If you're constantly like the grumpy old man, nobody wants to be around that. So be nice, be kind, be positive. I'm telling you, it works. It works. And be confident, and problem solve. Every single day, you're going to run into problems. Don't get discouraged. Yes, please give me another. I always like to say that, right? It's a chance for you to prove yourself to yourself, okay? Which boosts your morale, which makes you seem like you're growing because you are. Every time you have a problem, you learn something new, so you grow. Problems are not your enemy. They're your friend. Follow and subscribe, guys. The Andy Coleman on Instagram and Andy Coleman Real Estate on YouTube. Just hit that subscribe button. Watch some of my videos. I break things down more. I teach agents how to do this. So reach out to me there. It's a Rich with Rentals. It's honestly incredible. I literally have agents making $40,000 a month now. I have single mothers of 5 making $11,000 in their first 30 days.
In just a few short months, I went from making $0 to making $25,000, and then that wire was there, and I had close to $30,000 in my bank account.
I mean, it's truly mind blowing the impact that this can have on an agent right now, especially now in this market and these uncertain times with the election that just happened. We don't know what's going to happen, but I do know for certain rentals are going to work. I know that. For 100% certainty, rentals will work no matter what going forward this year, next year, the year after that. They're never going away.